sacrifice himself for all our sins.
Christmas Praise 1065. Merry Christmas from Praise 1065.
For the old man who sits still. pt3d, Linden, Bellingham, Vancouver, HD1.
Do you ever feel backed into a corner, either financially, in a relationship, or perhaps trapped in your occupation? Maybe you're completely at the end of yourself and have no idea how God will provide an escape. Well, today on Insight for Living, you'll hear Chuck Swindoll conclude a message based on Mark chapter 6. You'll be reminded that we can trust the God who specializes in impossibilities. And if you missed any portion of the message this week, we'll begin with some helpful review.
The apostles gathered together with Jesus, and they reported to him all that they had done and taught. They come back to Jesus, and they are full of stories, full of information. Let me add, they are bone weary. Remember, they were to travel light, so they're also hungry. All of these things prompt the human viewpoint, I might add. When you are weary, when you are exhausted, when you are hungry, it is the most difficult thing, it seems, on this planet to look at life through God's viewpoint. The disciples come back, they're exhausted, and Jesus says to them, verse 31, "Come away by yourselves to a secluded place and rest a while." This word secluded has in mind a remote place, a place without a crowd. In other words, let's get away for a little break together, a little R&R. You're exhausted, you're hungry, we'll spend some time together just enjoying the presence of one another. There will be no responsibilities. We will just have that to look forward to. And so they set their expectations based on that invitation. In fact, there were many people coming and going, and they didn't even have time to eat. If you minister, you know how weary the crowd can be. You tire after a while of so many people with so many needs, so many expectations, and that's what they've been living with for this undetermined period of time. So how excited they must have been, anticipating time alone with each other and with Jesus. On top of that, verse 32, they went away in the boat, so they're alone together, the 13 of them. They're in the boat, and they go to this, on their way to this secluded place by themselves. High expectations. I'm sure some of them aren't in the boat very long before they're getting sleepy. And if you've done much of your life on a boat, you know how comfortable it is with the waves splashing against the hull. And certainly if you have sailed, you know what an enjoyment it is, especially if someone else is responsible for the sailing. And you're along for the ride, you get sleepy, you relax, you lay down on the deck or wherever, and you kick back. Life doesn't get much better than that until you get to verse 33. The people saw them going. Many recognized them, and they ran together on foot from all the cities and got there ahead of them. Now the rest, the hope for the rest, the anticipation of time alone, sitting around an open fire, broiling some fish, relaxing together, is over. Why? Because the people have beat them to the place where they were going to go to be alone. They're there by the thousands. The thousands. And they all have expectations. And all of them are waiting for something Jesus and these men can give them. Instantly, a human viewpoint and a divine viewpoint kicks in. The human viewpoint says, in the minds of the disciples, get rid of them. Or let's keep sailing. If we stay in the boat, they can't come out here. And if we go to over there, they can't find us. All of those things were going on. But you don't read that from Jesus. We read verse 34, when Jesus went ashore, he saw a large crowd and he felt compassion. No annoyance, compassion. He felt compassion for them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. He began to teach them many things. Now, you don't read a word about the disciples. You know why? They're hiding out in the boat. They're still got their duck down. Or whatever. Jesus, they're letting him do the teaching. They're pretty well taught out. They're going to hang back, and maybe he'll cut this short, and we'll be on our way to do what we look forward to doing. But that isn't what happened. Verse 35. When it was already quite late, his disciples came to him and said, "The place is desolate, it's already quite late." Everything they say from here on is the human viewpoint. It's obvious that it's getting late. It's obvious that the place is desolate. Now look at their answer. In contrast to Jesus' compassion, they said, "Send them away, so they may go into the surrounding countryside and villages and buy themselves something to eat." Jesus, enough is enough. Send them on their way. Before we get too critical of the disciples, imagine yourself in their shoes. I'm sure our response would be much the same as theirs. Jesus shocks them with his statement. You give them something to eat. In fact, the pronoun is emphatic. The sentence is an imperative, it's a command, but the verb is, or the pronoun is emphatic. You give them something to eat. Put it in all caps in your mind. Well, that set them off. When I read their response, I read sarcasm in their response. They said to him, "Shall we go and spend 200 denarii on bread